Hi everyone, for today's Top Talk we have Mr. Rabi Agrawal with us. Ravi has 16 years of HR experience, beginning as a recruiter in an agency. He played a key role in scaling Zivame from a small startup to a mid-sized omni-channel company as a head of TA. At ClearTax, he tripled the company's workforce in 2.5 years. Currently, he is the head of HR at Flobiz, a fintech startup where he established the HR function from scratch.
So, welcome to our Top Talk interview series, Ravi.
Thank you.
Ravi, let's dive into our very first question for the interview. So, how do you think new technology change impact performance management and employee engagement?
Yes. See, HR as a function, right, has changed a lot over time, right? Earlier, HR was mostly used for, let's say, salary processing, right, attendance tracking, etc. Then it grew, right? Companies started realizing that people processes, people policies are so important that they can make or break a company, right? And that is how HR has evolved. HR leaders are now advisors to the founders and the other leaders, right? So this is where things have reached. And in all of this, technology has played a major part, right? Now coming to specific to how things are changing, obviously it is evolving and how things are changing and how it will look for like in future. Specifically coming to, let's say, performance management, right? We all know that AI has come and it has come in a big way,
Absolutely.
right? And it is going to change things in many ways, right? Now coming to, let's say, AI can really do performance evaluation in a very objective and structured manner, which can avoid biases also. Right, which is the case in the current scenario. AI can really help in doing that. Right. Now coming to development plans. Right. Earlier, when things were more manual, individual development plans making was difficult. Now AI can really do individual development plans for people. Right. So these things are really important. Now, performance evaluation, I said, it can be very objectively done through new technologies. Right. Continuous feedback process. Earlier, the feedback that we were taking for the team members' performance, in most cases, was end of the year, right? The appraisal process that we used to, right? Which is not a right way because unless you give them regular feedbacks, they will not be able to develop. And when you finally give them a performance rating, they'll be like, sir, आपने मुझे पहले बताया नहीं. If I was not doing these things correctly, I could have improved. Right. So new technologies can really enable that based on how the person is performing versus their KRA. If they are slacking somewhere, technology can really help in giving specific inputs time to time. Right. So those are some things that you can do in performance management. Now coming to engagement, right? In engagement, technology developments are extremely important. Because after COVID, right, the way people work, the way companies work has changed a lot. Right now, hybrid is kind of a norm. Right,
exactly.
A lot of companies are actually working in hybrid mode, and it may continue to be like that for a very long time, or it may continue to be like that forever. Right, exactly. And when you have team members working from different locations, somebody working from home, somebody working from some other location, somebody working from some other office, how do you plan engagement programs which can accommodate all of them? When you have people in office, you can do a lot of offline activities where you can bring them together. But when things are hybrid, you have to think of ways how you can still accommodate all of them. And that is where technology will play a very crucial part, obviously. One is, let's say, collaboration tools, right? You have Slack and all that, where you can collaborate with team members across different locations, right? Now, other things that we can do in terms of engagement is, let's say, online, a lot of, let's say, gaming activities or online, some quizzes, etc. All of that can be done online, right? Which can be done by different people sitting in different places. right?
Correct.
Now, other ways which technology can play a great part in engagement activity is these days there are a lot of discussions around mental health well-being, right? Physical well-being. In these areas, there are, let's say, mental health apps, right? On physical
Yeah.
health, you have physical health apps. You have, let's say, fitness trackers, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
these are all technological developments, right? And they can help in really monitoring and improving your team members' physical health, mental health, right? You can give them counseling, right? All these things can be done through technological developments, I think, right? There are different tools that I think we can use to gather feedback from team members, right? I think these are some things that come to my mind, on top of my mind, where how technology can, let's say, help performance management. Technology can help engagement activities.
Absolutely correct. As you already mentioned that the tools that will help for mental health or maybe the physical health of the employee, I think these are very important as of now, because people are nowadays have various issues and people do not open up. So mental health is something which is very important, and I'm sure technology will change and is changing currently to help and support
Yes.
employees in their workplaces.
Yes,
Absolutely
and
agree with.
it came to it came to focus a lot during COVID times, I feel,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And with good reasons, I think this was important. We were not discussing about these things a lot, and now
Hmm.
good that it has come to the forefront.
Exactly. Absolutely agree with you. The next question is: do you see burnout to be a major problem in companies across industry currently and in the future?
Uh, I will say yes.
Yeah.
This is also, see, it depends on how you handle things, how organizations handle things, how employees handle things, how managers handle things, right? Especially when you are in a hybrid scenario,
Hmm.
right? Let's say you are working from home, right? You have to play that card very carefully, because when you work from home, the line between your personal time and the work time, right, that becomes very blurry, right?
Yeah.
And company, both at individual level, at manager level, and company level, companies have to be people have to be very careful not to break that line, acknowledge
Hmm.
that the person will have some individual time, right? So this is definitely important. But in some cases that is breaking, because of which burnout will happen, right? Now, other things because of which burnouts can happen when you are in a remote scenario or hybrid scenario, right? Your KRAs have to be very clear and specific. Otherwise, when you are in an office, right, so you talk to each other more often, you know how people are doing, etc. But in remote scenario, like if things are not very clear, roles are not very clear, responsibilities are not very clear, right? We'll keep working and still manager will not realize how much you're working or how what is the output.
Exactly. Yeah.
So those have to be very well defined,
Correct.
and that is where things are breaking, right? In most companies these things are not very clear, is not very clearly defined, right? And your working hours or maybe work life balance things are not very clearly defined,
Hmm.
or management doesn't appreciate these things so much,
Hmm.
because of which burnouts are happening.
Correct.
And if we don't acknowledge these things and don't implement these things, this may continue.
Absolutely. Okay. So, what advice would you give HR professional on creating a holistic performance management strategy that integrates employees' well-being and engagement?
Okay. So, see, performance management, when we say, right, performance management is not only the appraisal process, right?
Hmm.
It has to be holistic, as you mentioned, right?
Hmm.
And it starts from when you do set the goals, right? You call it goal setting, you call it OKR, you call it KRA, right?
Correct.
Like similar things, but that is important. In a lot of companies, when people get hired, they just assume that the person knows what he has to do, or manager
Hmm.
verbally tells few things for him to do, and the person starts working, right? And when appraisal time happens and the manager gives feedback on certain areas saying, Apne, you have done these things, you didn't do these things. Many times it comes to a situation where the team member says, Ki, I did not even know that this is what I had to do,
Exactly.
right?
Hmm.
So clearly defined KRAs is the first step, right?
Okay.
And they have to be specific, measurable. We call smart, right? So
Yeah.
time bound, etc. So they have to be very specific and measurable, and it has to be agreed between the team member and the manager, right? This has to be done. This is the first thing. Like that, I will advise that make proper KRS for each and every team member,
Correct.
right? For people who are already in the organization, right after the appraisal process, you should do KRA for the next year. For people who are joining in between, as soon as they join, maybe within 7 days, 10 days, you fix their KRS.
Correct.
So they know that very well, it has to be recorded,
Exactly.
right? This is first thing. Now coming to feedback process, right?
Hmm.
Feedback process should not be an annual process. It has to be a continuous process,
Okay.
right? Once you have continuous feedback process, the person will continuously improve, right? That is
Absolutely.
very
Yeah.
important. Otherwise, end of the year, if you inform them, there's a lost in between or wasted in between. The feedback
Correct.
process has to be regular, continuous. Similarly, we should have development plans customized for each person. Right? You cannot have same training put to everyone where some people are already good at it, some people are not good at it. So whatever they need, you have to have customized plan for them,
Hmm.
right? I think these are two, three things I will talk about in terms of performance management, right? Now coming to engagement, right? When I talk about engagement, that also can be very customized, right?
Okay.
Engagement activities can be customized depending on their interest areas, right? The older way of playing engagement activities are not exciting to people anymore, right? So you have to find out different ways, right, which excites them, and plan your engagement activities accordingly, right? That will motivate them. Another thing that we can do is engagement, the values of the companies that we have, right?
Yeah.
Think of engagement activities which will encourage those kind of values.
Okay.
That way, right, they are getting engaged also. At the same time, they are learning about the company values also, right?
Hmm.
So these are, I think, some things that I think we can for sure do. Yeah, I think some of these things come to my mind.
Okay. Great. Okay. So, according to you, how can companies leverage employees' purpose and passion to drive top performance and create a more meaningful work experience?
Okay, yeah, it's an interesting question. So when it comes to purpose and passion, right? Um, we have to do different things. It is not only about job, right? So when you talk to team members and you want to bring passion in them, purpose in them, first of all, company should have a purpose, right?
Very true.
We should not only talk about profit, we should talk about bigger goals, right? What we really want to achieve other than just making money. Once you decide what is a bigger goal of the organization, maybe we want to make some changes in industry, or some, let's say we want to, like for example in our company, right, we have a product called MyBillbook, which is a billing accounting software.
Okay.
I can say that we are selling a billing accounting software, right, and I want to make profit out of it. Or I can say that till now, like a lot of SMEs in India are still using pen and paper, and their life is difficult, how they manage their business, right? We want to digitalize that, and we want to make their running business easier, right? And thereby, once SMEs become more empowered, right? Once SMEs digitize their business and it becomes easier for them, it will eventually impact the whole country, right? SMEs run the country. So this is how I'm connecting, right, my business to a larger purpose. So once we do that, and then each individual of the organization, whatever they are doing, you have to explain to them how the small or whatever work that they are doing is connecting to the larger purpose.
Correct.
So that is where the purpose comes.
Exactly.
Right, and that is where the passion also comes, right? So connecting to the bigger picture. Now, once we have done that, right? Now the next thing is, how do you empower them, right? Gone are the days when you only keep micromanaging your team members. You tell them tasks and ask them to do those tasks. It doesn't work that way anymore. If you really want them to be empowered, you want them to be purpose driven, you want them to be motivated, right? Empower them, right? Give them autonomy to do things. right? People who are doing really well or top performers, reward them really well, right? These are some things that are very important for them to bring their purpose within themselves. Other few things that I think companies must do is be very transparent. What happens is there are team members who are working really hard, right? And let's say they are not able to realize how the company is doing, right? How the company is performing. Then slowly their motivation may go down, right? The management needs to be very transparent, right? How things are moving, right? Management should be open to feedback from team members. Once you do these kind of activities, then the belongingness comes.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? Company will start feeling employees will start feeling the company as their own, let's say, company or their own thing. Then they'll start working really hard, or maybe they'll be more purpose driven.
So you're telling that the company must communicate with their employees more, maybe in terms of feedback or in terms of any decisions or small things that the employees are doing and how that is affecting the company's maybe result or goals that they have.
So that is one. Exactly. Second thing is, let's say, organize regular town halls, right?
Yeah.
And take questions from them. Even if it's difficult questions, don't avoid. Try to answer that, right? Give them a lot of autonomy to do things. So these are the things that will make them more purpose-driven.
Okay, great. So, how would you recommend handling a situation where a high-performing employee shows a decline in performance?
Yeah, so this happens, right? See, first of all, what we need to understand is somebody has been a very high performer, and suddenly we are seeing decline, right? Obviously, it is not really going to be a skill issue or something like that. Exactly. Because the person was doing well. There can be two reasons behind it. One is there has to be some professional problem, or it has to be some personal problem. Right? These are the two things that can happen. But how do you handle that? Exactly. First of all, we should definitely set up, let's say, one-on-one with the team member. Yeah. Right. You should also have noted down areas where they are not doing well. Right. That I'll come to that later. But you should first have a one-on-one conversation with the person. In the meeting, you should highlight that you are seeing that the person is not doing well in certain areas. Maybe you can point out few things also, and then let it open thing, right? Let it be an open conversation. Listen from the person. Okay, what has happened, right? What is the problem? Let the person talk about everything that they are facing, any challenges they are facing, be it personal or be it professional, right? And then the course of action has to be decided based on what really the problem is, right? If it is a personal problem and the person is not able to, let's say, focus more, right? He or she needs some extra time for personal work, etc., or some challenges they are facing, you have to handle it accordingly. Now, one or two ways to do it. Let's say you reduce their workload for some time, right? Maybe till the time they handle the personal problem that they have, right? And maybe you take that workload for some time. They'll really appreciate that, right? Let's say it comes to maybe you can give some personal advice, like if they are facing any personal problem. Coming to professional problems, right? You need to really understand what professional problem they're facing. Is there a issue with a new role that they had taken, right? There's a possibility they had taken a new role and they're not doing well because they have not learned few things. There's new skills required, and you can train them in that, right? There are issues with, let's say, other team members, then you have to solve that. They're facing challenges with some other department, etc. You have to solve that, right? And work with the person. Okay, work with the person, show confidence in the person. Okay, tell them that you are with them and you have still confidence with the person, and define some goals, small goals, and finally you can achieve there. These are, I think, some things that we need to do. See, ultimately it is you have been given responsibility of managing a team. You have been given responsibility by the company to get some work done, right? And that has to be done anyhow, right? Yeah. But at the same time, right, you have to be very sensitive, right, to your team members if they are facing some challenges.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it has to be a balance that the manager has to do,
Absolutely. Okay, now we come to our last question of today's session.
Mhm.
So, that is, how do you create a work environment that encourages employees to take risk and innovate, knowing that failures will try constructively?
Okay. So see how we can do that is, first of all, right, you have to give confidence to the team members that it is absolutely fine to try new things, right? Many a times
Okay.
they are afraid of failure,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that confidence has to be given from the manager, saying
Absolutely.
it is absolutely fine to try new things. You will make few mistakes, absolutely fine. I am there for you. Don't worry about that. But unless you try new things, you will not learn new things. Company will not do new things. So it is
Correct.
absolutely fine. Try to do new things, try to innovate, try to experiment, right? These things are absolutely fine. So first of all, that communication, right, has to be very, very clear to the team members so that they have that safety net, right? That is important. If something goes wrong, I am there, right? That is very important. We have to tell them, right, that failure is, there is nothing wrong with failure. It is rather a learning tool,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
So these things are important, right? Once you do that, then you will start seeing results. Now few more things that we can do is appreciate and recognize when somebody is doing something new, somebody is doing some new innovation, right? Somebody is new, doing some new experimentation, new way of doing things, right? Appreciate that, recognize that even if the results have not been as good, still if the person has tried something, you should appreciate it, recognize that,
Okay.
right? These are, I think, something that clearly comes to my mind. If you want to even go further, right, then what you can do is in their KRA, right, ask them to add a few things, or in their task list, right, monthly task list or something, ask them to add a few things which are innovative,
Okay.
right? So
Understood.
that is
Yeah.
also something when you, if you really want to push them to innovate or maybe do try new things, we can do that as well.
Correct. Understood. Great insight. So, with this, we come to an end of today's Top Talk interview. Thank you for your valuable insight, Ravi, and it's enriching and very well articulated, I must say. So, thank you so much once again for doing the Top Talk series with us.
No problem. Thank you very much. I enjoyed my conversation with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.